Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Help for the Guildless. My name, of course, is Antoine. I keep saying this, it's been a while. I'm going to try and get back into doing videos regularly, but my work schedule recently didn't allow for that. So here's to hoping a brand new year will start me off right. And what better way to start off right than taking a look in on one of my old favorites. So I thought I'd take a gander at some Riley Dennis videos and see how things go. I mean, Riley couldn't be doing too horribly, right? I mean, he's got me blocked on Twitter, so I wouldn't know. I guess we should find out, right? Yeah, let's do that.
Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and today we're going to be talking about why all of the Smash Ultimate characters are queer.
What? Oh, come on. Low-hanging fruit, Riley. You can do better than that.
Hey everyone, so today we're talking about how all of the characters in the new Super Mario Party game are queer.
Another video game? Riley, are you running out of sex toys to unbox and rate? There's gotta be something of substance here.
Hey everyone, so today we're talking about how Birdo is a trans icon.
Birdo? The pink thing? This is the third Nintendo video, Riley. Are you feeling okay? Look, show me on the doll where Satoru Iwata hurt you. I promise I won't tell anyone else. Just try and make a video with actual substance for once.
So, I have this radical leftist idea that nobody should die just because they can't get a job.
That's not possible. Not you, Riley. You're so alt-right-ish, I guess. You having a radical leftist idea is just a ridiculous thought, really.
I know, it's really out there, wild stuff that could just never be accepted in the mainstream. But hear me out. What if we just guaranteed everyone a base standard of living? Food, water, shelter, that sort of thing.
Now I remember why I don't respond to Riley Dennis videos anymore. Jesus Christ, the jump cuts. So Riley is talking about a base income for people, I guess? For those who work and don't have a job? I mean, I'm assuming Riley understands that the Federal Reserve cannot just print money. Yeah, I get that they can. They just don't because it will tank the dollar. If that's not what Riley is talking about, who's gonna pay for it?
That way, people wouldn't have to be homeless and wouldn't have to starve. Because whatever we're doing right now, it's not working. So many people are homeless or face food insecurity. It's time to try something new.
Yes, that's all well and good. There's poor people, there's low-income people, there's people who own property, and then there's rich people. This does not explain where the money for this type of project is gonna come from. My guess, since, this is a radical left-wing idea, Riley is going to say tax the rich because they don't already pay their fair share of taxes. I'll even make you a little bet. I'll eat my goddamn hoodie if Riley doesn't say that we should tax the rich for this.
And maybe our best way of ensuring that everybody has a base level standard of living is just to give them a monthly income, no strings attached.
Just give people money. Is this bitch serious? Riley, that doesn't work. Now, I know it's an old saying, but it's very suitable for what Riley wants. Give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime. If you just give these people money, who are poor, who are broke, who are drug addicts, who don't use their money wisely, they're still not going to use the money wisely. It's why everyone who is of low income looks forward to tax season. Because we all, and I am including myself in that, get a large sum of money for free at once. Now, yes, I know it's not actually free. We were putting into it all year. But it's a large chunk of money that we're getting back. How many people actually save it? Do you want to know why tax season is so filled with sales? Because the capitalist society that Riley hates so much understands that the people who get this money want to spend it on things they've been craving all year long. So giving these people a standard monthly stipend is going to do nothing but tank the economy.
This is called the Universal Basic Income, or UBI, and it's been gaining traction for a while now. Small trials have been put into place in various cities, and more people are seeing it as a viable way to ensure that everyone has a base standard of living.
Oh, I'm sure it's gaining traction among some circles. Bernie bros, communists, socialists. But I can almost guarantee through the mainstream it's not going to gain much traction because there's too many people out there that don't want to fund other people. It's not our job to take care of Joe Schmo who can't get the needle out of his arm long enough to actually sober up and get a job. What are the names of these cities, Riley? I would love to know. And if you can name these cities, how well are they doing? Do they have a bustling, booming economy? Are they cities that are in the black? Or are these cities so far in the red that they've had to borrow from the government to sustain themselves? I'm actually asking because I'd really like to know. Maybe Riley will mention these cities. Who knows?
The basic idea behind UBI is simple. Every person deserves to survive. And in our current system, that means they need money for food and shelter and basic necessities. It's a simplified version of the welfare system where every month the government just writes a check to every resident, regardless of their income or job status or anything like that. What this does is it guarantees everyone has their basic needs met. Everyone can survive.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Riley wants the government to fund rapists, drug addicts, molesters, and murderers. I mean, that's honestly what he's saying. He wants the government to give everyone a monthly stipend to not only pay for rent, but food and necessities. Aside from the fact that this standardized government check is going to cause landlords all over the country to automatically raise their rent to as high as they possibly can because the government is now funding them, it's giving these people an opportunity to be free to do what they want, because he's asking for them to pay not only for rent, but food and necessities. That's right, necessities, like gas, water, electricity, and there are certain people out there who are actually stating that they want the internet to be considered a necessity, as well as cell phones. So, that means Riley wants the government not only to pay for these people, but give them access to the internet, give them access to gas, water, power, and trash, and cell phones, so that these people can stay in contact with their victims, and in the case of drug dealers and druggies, each other. Good job, Riley. Way to screw over the majority of good people in this world, or at least in this country, and fund the filth.
As it stands in our current system, if you don't have money for rent, you get evicted and become homeless. If you don't have money for food, you starve. And obviously, we have some measures in place to counteract this. The US runs a bunch of various welfare programs. Private organizations and nonprofits often work to help homeless people in various cities, and we have things like food banks to help people who face food insecurity.
Yes, there are government programs to help people. Now, there are stipulations to be on those programs, but they're there, and they're there to help the citizens of this country. And they're good programs. Anyone who's needing of assistance in helping paying rent, the government will help you pay it. Need help with food? The government will help you pay it. On top of that, there's non-profit organizations out there that will help you pay for your utilities as well. All of this is done without the aid of the government just handing you money.
Insecurity. And while all these programs can help some people, they can't help everyone.
You're right, it can't help everyone, because not everyone can follow the rules that the government sets for these programs. They don't want to because they don't think they have to. And in that case, they don't need the help.
And that means that many people still live in poverty, still can't find a stable place to live, or still can't reliably put food on the table. And that's a problem, because as a society, we should want everyone to be doing okay. We should want everyone, at the very least, to be able to survive. If you don't want that, I think you have bigger issues to work through that I can't really address in this video. But
actually, as a society, we should want society to survive, not individuals. You see, as a society, we understand that certain individuals aren't going to make it. That's how society works. That's how civilization works. Not everyone gets dealt the same hand, and that's not fair, but at the same time, it's how society thrives. Do I feel bad for those people? Yes. Does it make me want to give them half my paycheck because they can't get their shit together? No. It's not that I have a problem that you can't address, Riley. It's that you don't have an understanding of society as a whole. You see it through rose-colored glasses, where everyone should have equal opportunity, there should be equal outcome, and everyone can live in harmony. That's not how it works. And I'm sorry, Riley, you lost the ability to dictate what we do in America when you ran to Australia.
But assuming you want everyone to be doing okay, UBI could be one really good method for doing that. Because for one, our current systems have too many strings attached. To be accepted into one of the US government's many welfare programs, you need to go through a lot of bureaucracy and meet a lot of specific requirements. And the government will be watching you closely to make sure you don't ever slip up. Because if you do, they're taking those benefits right back.
Yes, as they should. It's their money. They want to make sure you want the help, that you're in need of the help. And if one of those things is you don't have a job, they're not just going to give it to you and say, okay, have fun. They're going to give it to you and say, okay, look for a job now. And as long as you're looking for a job, we're gonna help you. As soon as you get a job, we're still gonna help you. It's just gonna be less. The problem is that people tend to get complacent with the funding of when they didn't have a job. Riley, have you ever had a friend who was on unemployment and they were making more money on unemployment than they were getting a low-level job, and they've said to you, I'd rather stay on unemployment than get into the workforce of customer service or whatever? It's because they became complacent with the money they were given. This is why those rules are intact and in place, because without them, they're just giving away free money with no guarantee that the person that they're giving it to is going to put it back into the economy. Schmuck.
This is bad because not everyone can meet those requirements, and sometimes people are going to make mistakes or do things that would disqualify them from those programs. That shouldn't mean their entire livelihood is revoked.
And that's your problem right there. You think it's a livelihood, that being on these programs is a way of life. It's not. It is temporary assistance. And yes, people do make mistakes, but there are ways to rectify those mistakes, and they usually are very lenient about it, as long as you show the effort that you're going to fix said mistake. This is not a way of life, Riley, and that's where you have this twisted. You deadass just said that this is their livelihood and it's being taken away. It's not. It's temporary government assistance that is supposed to be temporary.
If you give everyone a basic income, it can't be revoked for any reason. If you exist in the country, you get a basic income. No matter the mistakes you made, no matter how bad you are at dealing with bureaucracy, you get a basic income so you can survive, no matter what.
I'm sorry, I have to hear that again. You said what now?
If you give everyone a basic income, it can't be revoked for any reason. If you exist in the country, you get a basic income.
Well, there you have it, folks. I don't even have to make any more arguments. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've heard to date. A governmental program that is going to go for everyone just for existing. You hear that, other countries of the world? All you have to do is show up in America on American soil. Even if it meant you decided to fall off of a boat and swim here, the government is then going to give you a monthly paycheck to where you can pay for rent, pay for food, and pay for things like utilities, regardless of what your past history is. It doesn't matter if you broke the law in Mexico. It doesn't matter if you killed someone in Africa. And it damn sure doesn't matter if you were former KGB in Russia. You get free money. This also goes to show that Riley doesn't understand things like economics, government, funding, or anything that has to do with anything sensible in this world. It's just give, 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 and take from everyone else. Why not? They can afford it, right? Regardless of the fact that they may have worked their entire life for it, Riley thinks that someone else deserves it. You dumb fuck.
Now, one of the things that people often worry about when it comes to UBI is the incentive to work.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's how it's going to be funded, not if it's going to work. Which you still haven't explained how it's going to be funded, Riley. You might want to get on that.
A lot of people have this idea that work is something people only do because it allows them to survive, and they believe that if you take away that incentive, people will stop working. I just don't think that's true.
People work because it gives you a sense of responsibility for something, that you earned that money. It gives it more impact on when you spend it. Has nothing to do with, oh, it needs to survive. Yes, you need to pay for bills and things like that. I'm sorry, you just don't think that's why people don't want to work. It doesn't work that way, Riley. You keep saying people. Why don't you just say your friends? Your friends who don't have jobs or who work for everyday feminism writing blogs think this way. If you were more transparent in your answers, maybe people like myself wouldn't look at you like the goddamn moron that you are.
Working isn't always just about earning money to survive. Many people work because it's something to do, because it gives them a sense of accomplishment, because of the status it brings them, because it allows them to socialize with coworkers, because it's a creative outlet, or it's just something they enjoy. There are a lot of reasons that people work beyond money, and I think there's no way that if you gave everyone a basic income that they would all just stop working.
Except you're talking about the exception, not the rule. Yes, there are people out there that do go to work because they're already financially well off, that their job is just something for them to do. It has nothing to do for them with earning a living. It's just a hobby. For the rest of the world, and by that I mean 98% of us who do work, it's because we need to make that money to pay our bills. Because we like the car that we drive. We like the internet service that we use. We like the movies that we watch through Hulu and Netflix. We like being on the computer. We like having the power to be on the computer. We like bathing. There's a bunch of different reasons why we go to work. It has nothing to do with socialization. So when you use the exception, the very small minority of people, to set the standard, you are being intellectually dishonest in thinking that the rest of the world thinks the exact same way. This is a majority of people who need these jobs. So yes, if you just give out free money, there is a good chance that a lot of the workforce will just stop.
Would you? I wouldn't. I mean, you can see an example of this in the world today, that lots of rich people who have enough money to sit on for the rest of their lives, they continue working. And clearly, at that point, it isn't about the money. Some folks who have retired still continue to work in some form. Sure, some people might stop working, but that's not the end of the world. They would definitely be a small minority of people, and we always have a small percentage of folks who aren't working. That's what the unemployment rate is.
Thank you for proving my point, Riley. The rich continue to work. The retired, who already get a monthly stipend called Social Security, still continue to work. Those are minorities. But thank you for proving my point. And those minorities are completely different from the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is able-bodied workers who are unemployed, not senior citizens. And the rich, who are well off, who continue to work, are not unemployed. Do you jump cut everything? Are you sure you look over these videos and are happy with how you sound and the contradictory ideas that you put out? You may want to second guess that.
Actually, this brings me to a related point, which is that not everyone needs to work. I might do a whole video on this eventually, but I'll give you the short version. We seem to have this idea that an ideal society is one where 100% of the population is working, but there's no need for that. For society to function, we don't need 100% of the population to be working. This isn't the olden days where everyone has to raise their own crops. Today, wealth is concentrated in the hands of a relatively small percentage of the population, so all we have to do is redistribute that wealth to everyone else, and we have enough to get by.
There it is! I was actually getting a little worried that he wasn't going to say take money from the rich. I really like this hoodie. I didn't want to have to eat it.
You don't need to make people do pointless jobs just because you think everyone needs a job. Because the truth is, they don't. And if they want a job, which I'm betting a lot of people will, they can find something that they enjoy doing, like something creative or something that helps other people, instead of some repetitive, boring task created just for the sake of there being an official job for the person.
Those are called hobbies.
And the need for us to recognize that jobs aren't essential is growing fast because of automation. Robots are taking over a lot of the more dangerous and tedious jobs, and that's really good for keeping people safe and freeing up people's time. But that also means that if nothing changes, those newly unemployed folks are gonna be in a lot of trouble.
I actually have to agree here. Riley does have a point. The people that have lost their jobs because of automation are left kind of in the cold. But that's where a trade comes in. Being in something like security, where you can work in the private sector, or plumbing, or becoming an electrician or a mechanic. Things that will not and cannot be automated. You will always have a job. Now, if you can turn that job into a career, well, then you can make some decent money, and then you don't have to worry about it. So, again, I agree with Riley, but at the same time, Riley is grossly over-exaggerating this situation.
That's where UBI comes in. Automation is already taking people's jobs, but instead of fighting that and keeping people in boring, repetitive jobs, a solution that wouldn't work for very long, we could instead embrace automation and give everyone a basic income. We could get people out of those dangerous, meaningless jobs and free up their time to do other stuff. Right now, lots of people have a hard time being creative or entrepreneurial because they're just fighting to make rent month by month. With that burden lifted off of them, imagine all of the new, amazing art and literature and other projects that people could come up with.
Unless this brand of art, the music, the comedy, the movies, the paintings, the podcasts, as long as it all agreed with Riley's ideology, it would be perfectly fine. But don't you dare even remotely try and support Trump or any other right-wing idealization, because Riley would be one of the first people to call you out and try and get you shut down. Imagine that.
They could create beautiful, amazing things, or they could start organizations that help people, or any other number of things. The potential is out there, and a lot of people just don't have the time or energy to do it when they're trying to survive. And in some cases, there will be dangerous or gross jobs that can't be done by robots. And in those cases, a UBI would give workers the ability to demand safer working conditions and higher pay. Because right now, a lot of jobs have unsafe working conditions and low pay simply because employers know that people will take these jobs because they need them to survive.
No, Riley, those gross, disgusting jobs, the dangerous ones, those actually pay better than any other jobs out there. Sanitation workers have some of the best health insurance offered by their employers, as well as the best pay. And the reason why is because they are dealing with the literal filth of society. The jobs you're talking about are the menial jobs, the boring jobs, the jobs that people don't want to do. You are talking about two completely different things, and you don't understand that. So I'm going to explain it to you one more time. For those of you in the back, let's take a listen. If you are working in an extremely dangerous job, filthy job, you make more money than just the basement-dwelling cashier at Forever 21. The menial tasks are the ones that Riley is talking about. The ones that anyone can do. He's talking about the fight for 15. I'm sorry, if I've got extra training and my job is particularly dangerous, I do not want some pimple-faced punk who can't get a goddamn Arby's sandwich correct to be making, if not more than me, the same amount. I'd be a little pissed off.
But if people no longer need your job to survive, you've got to sweeten the deal. So people would still take those jobs, but they'd be much safer and better paid. Because under this system, people would still have jobs and be paid. So if money is a huge motivator for you, you can still work to earn money above the amount you get from UBI. So maybe you're wondering, how do we pay for all of this?
Riley's already said, take money from the rich. I'm guessing this is where they clarify exactly what they mean and how things are going to be paid for. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised.
Giving everyone a livable income every month sounds expensive, and it is, but it's definitely possible. And the main solution is to tax the rich. They have so much money, they hardly know what to do with it.
I must be fucking psychic. Listen, Riley, did you know that the rich is already taxed at a ginormous amount compared to you? Did you know that? It's 65%. 65% of their income is taxed. They pay a lot. Do you also know that that's why most rich people give donations to charities? Because at the end of the year, they get raked over the goddamn coals. And the only way that they're able to balance out that income is to donate their hard-earned money to other people. But yes, let's tax them more. Let's tax everything. How much is too much for you? 90%? Is that too much? No, that still gives rich people way too much money because there's income inequality. Let's tax them 100%. Every dollar that they make, they have to pay back. So when the small business owner gets taxed into oblivion, there's no one to blame but yourself. Because did you know that the quote-unquote upper 1% is anyone who makes $300,000 a year or more. $500,000 if it's a couple. These are people with liquid assets of maybe $50,000, not $300,000. They have investments in properties, stocks, maybe they own a business. But let's go ahead and tax them, why not? Take everything and spread it out. You know what, Riley? You can take this idea and shove it up your ass. Maybe use one of those sex toys that you rate every single time when you need clicks. You don't know what you're talking about, and you want people to vote this way. Let's give you $300,000 a year, Riley, and see how you feel. I can guarantee you'd turn into a conservative really fucking quick.
And income inequality has been rising for years, so that would be the main funding source, but also if a UBI were to be put into place, it would make a lot of welfare programs redundant. There might still need to be some much smaller programs for certain things, but the vast majority of money going to current welfare systems could be redirected into the UBI. That means that we're not just making money appear out of nowhere, we're just taking it from the rich and from the programs that we're replacing with the basic income. This is something we could afford, and it would actually be good for the economy because people who had been too poor to really buy much would suddenly have disposable income, and that means they'd be spending more. More spending and more demand would result in a better functioning economy. So yeah, that's the idea behind UBI. Give everyone money, allow everyone to survive, raise the standard of living for everyone, and improve the economy. It might be a while before we can get there, but I have to believe that we can do it.
So Riley has some good points, maybe 2 out of this whole fucking video, but what I want to know is what programs does Riley think the government should get rid of? It was basically stated, oh, just get rid of some. Okay, which ones? Because I know for a fact, Riley, you have no idea what all of these programs do. You just get a base assumption of what everyone else says. You don't research any of these. I really don't understand the thought of just giving away free money. Do you want to know why it's not gonna work? The lottery. No, I know what you're saying. Oh, no, that's gambling. And the odds of you winning the lottery is so-and-so numbers. You'd have a better chance getting struck by lightning. You're right. But my point is the lottery winners. The lottery winners that get the big sums, 95% of them end up bankrupt within 4 years. If you give people money, just give it to them, they will not learn to appreciate it. Thus, it will not carry weight with them. And they will spend it frivolously. Becoming complacent in these government-funded programs is not what they're designed for. And if you happen to be one of those 1,000 people that gets their job automated, I'm sorry. If your job was that easy, maybe you should have found a trade. And those are my thoughts, folks. I'd love to know yours. Let me know down in the comments. If you'd like to support this channel, and I really hope you do, I have some links down below. I have a link to a Patreon, to a PayPal, and also, if you would like, you could actually become a paying subscriber with that join button that's right there. Anything you can do is really appreciated. And if you'd like to join in the fun, why not hop over to my Discord, where in the hideout you can talk to me, you could talk to the trio, you could even talk to Sarah. Or if you want to talk to the people behind the characters, jump on into behind the scenes. I have tons of things to do there, why not? And you can follow me on Twitter, where I will post irregularly. But with that being said, thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. My name, of course, is Antoine, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.